I fucking love this song.
Welcome to the Mead Metal and MMA podcast. Tones of Iron Maiden off of their...
Worst Bruce Dickinson I've ever done right there.
Yeah. Hey, well, the reason, I guess, why we had that, which I don't know, we're not even in the metal segment yet, but yeah, they're actually playing New Mexico, oddly enough, on Tuesday.
Actually, Iron Maiden really likes Albuquerque. They play there quite a bit.
Well, I don't know. Then again, Albuquerque is a little on the shady side.
And then that, that solo project Ghost is opening up for him.
Yeah, Ghost is opening for it. Yeah, and this shit's all coming up on, like, whatever the hell Tuesday is, like 27th or some shit.
Right.
28th. I don't know, but yeah. And we found that out through our friend Ruben, label designer.
Concert connoisseur. He went to go see fucking Korn, Stone Sour, and that fucking Japanese, that baby metal band.
Oh, my God.
That's like one of Ruben's favorite fucking bands out there.
I'm not going to shit talk him because I know he's going to listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I'll shit talk him. You're dumb, Ruben. You're dumb. I love you, buddy. I'm just kidding.
No, how's he coming with the label?
We've both seen a mock-up of it, to which he did. He stylized Runestone wonderfully. I think it looks great. I like the stone that he made. He did make the center of the stone blue, which at first I was like, it's kind of weird. But then you and I got to talking about shrinks for the bottles, and going with blue would make that pop.
Yeah.
Actually.
Well, because we have done a gym one other time. It was on Troublemaker.
Yeah, it's kind of that's actually a really good point. It's like it's an extremely subtle callback to Troublemaker.
Ruben appreciates the callback.
Yeah.
So
hey, that's a hardcore fan right there.
And if you don't know what the hell we're talking about, apparently you haven't been listening to some podcasts, and you better catch up because we've been doing this shit almost 6 solid months now. I think
that's right. I think this is 30th episode here.
Over 6 months then.
Yeah.
A batch of Runestone. That was our latest batch of Mead, which is honey wine for the uninitiated.
Yes, that the picture you're looking at right now is the finished bottled product. We are awaiting finalized label from Ruben. Waiting.
No,
shrinks.
That's it. That's all we're waiting on.
I was like, yeah, well,
I like to let corks actually settle for about 4 or 5 days at a minimum, in order to be able to. Get the finer qualities out of it, which is the air.
Right.
Get the air to exit the bottle, so therefore then that's less likelihood that we have an incident happen like happened to my brother down in Austin where one of our batches decided to blow a cork like I would if I saw Jenna Jameson.
Whoa, that's a dated thing right there, man.
Yeah. Or maybe I'm just really into the really weird ones. No, but it's we like to let the cork settle, get the O2 out, and at that point, then we can go ahead and put the labels on, get the shrinks on. I mean, it's not exactly an assembly line, but it is a very detailed kind of a process from bottling. I mean, we bottle prep, which is not a glorious project at all. We bottle prep, then we bottle, and then we cork. And then we let those set for about 5 to 10 days, depending. And then we get the shrinks on, get the labels on, and get them out to our good donators out there that appreciate what we do.
And we got to try. It was a little bit on the back end of the carboy. They had a little bit of the. No, yeah, we always get the byproduct and stuff.
We get the funk.
Yeah. If we take anything for free out of what we do, it's the stuff that we don't want to give to you for your donation.
Yeah.
But after trying it, that orange note is really nice.
I was worried about that. I thought, first of all, is the vanilla going to cover that up a little bit too much? No.
Actually, the vanilla is very muted.
Yeah.
Very muted.
It's there, but it is backgrounded.
Which is kind of what I wanted. I didn't want it to taste just like a goddamn creamsicle.
No.
It was, I guess you want to be fancy about it, the essence of the creamsicle.
And that's what's there. It's
it's a natural creamsicle.
Yeah.
With booze in it.
And the orange is a little bit up front. Now, the thing is, as it ages, I do know that
the honey makes a big comeback.
The honey will take over that. So probably that one's going to be one that'll be really, really good heading into the fall.
Right. So be excited, people.
So, yeah, if you kind of want in on it, let us know, because this turned out being a 21-bottle batch. Generally, a batch should get you about 24, technically, but we live in the real world where the elements kind of play in a factor with evaporation and whatnot and things of that nature. And also that we have to rack a lot of batches, especially dirty batches. So that means that we have less product to bottle. So
we got a lot of dirty batches.
So we have 21 on this one. Krista bought the first one. Kudos to her, by the way. I know that our friend Doc is going to be wanting to buy one. Our friend Don is wanting to buy one. That's 3. We owe Ruben one because he did the label project for us.
Yeah.
And there's a few others. I've got to get out one to my brother Daryl. I mean, this batch is going to go in a hurry, so it's not going to be lingering around like we'd had some of the stuff we'd finished up at the end of 2016.
Yeah, sure. We might need to get started on just a batch of one of our tried and trues.
Well, we do have the Green Man underway,
Right.
by the way, which we do need to move to secondary. From primary fermentation over to secondary because it cleans it up a little bit. The majority of about 76 and upward % of the fermentation has already been done. Actually, it's more likely about 86%
Right.
and above. You get that last little 14%, which is a pretty good finishing in the secondary fermentation process, but it's by no means the load carrier for converting honey to booze.
It's one of my favorites. Science and liquor.
Well, and the thing is, too, and, if you want a little more science for you, the thing is, as we've talked about before, all you got to have to make mead is water and honey and yeast. All of those have a very big variable to them. The flavor of water is enhanced or diminished by any kind of a project that might be underway within it, and in this case, making mead.
Yeah.
It's very heavily influenced by what we're doing. Honey has got a very big variable. We as we had seen in the honey that we'd bought out of the Wind River Valley in Wyoming last year, that was alfalfa honey. It turns out is really sweet. I wasn't prepared for it.
Super sweet. I mean, it changed because we made Long Ships and Troublemaker with it, right?
Yeah, Long Ships.
And they both came out a little on the sweet side.
Yeah, you could give that stuff to children.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
Hey, it'd be better than Benadryl, man. It'd be far more healthier than Benadryl. Which those were 2 batches that we wanted there to be some sweetness, but for it to not be the focus.
It was very much the focus. Yeah.
It didn't. I mean, they were still really good batches. I mean, obviously, there's not a whole lot left.
One
and none.
One and none.
But yeah, that alfalfa honey just kicks that sweetness up to like Viking blood levels almost.
Yeah, and I'm not a fan of Viking blood. And you can Google that one. That's actually it's.
I will say, out of all the meads out there, that's probably the best. I
Yeah.
like the flowery back end of it.
I want to try out Grimfrost.
You can buy. They have the lingonberry mead available here. It's
by
like
here being
20.
the United States.
Yeah, here in America.
We need to go ahead and check it out.
It's like $26.
That's fine. Ours are 30 for the donation.
Shipping that kicks you right in the dick.
Oh well,
it's like $35 shipping.
We might have to swallow it and figure it out. But
oh yeah, well I think we can pull it together.
But the thing is, so what we do though is you have variables on the water, you have variables on the honey from one extreme to the other. I mean, at one point in time, I thought, man, I want to do a buckwheat honey batch. No, that stuff is like molasses, and I think people would probably freak out a little bit by a really dark brown mead.
It might be something like maybe do a gallon test run on. Get a small amount of it.
Well, that's the problem. You got to buy a lot.
And we had talked about the avocado honey as well.
That one's a different one too. I understand it's pretty earthy, and that's cool. But coming off of pollination from trees, there's a lot of variables involved for people that are in the pollinator science.
And if it was super earthy, it would probably it would benefit to maybe bring back the herbal batch we tried.
Yeah, I mean, I hate buying honey kind of untested.
Sure.
So, but anyway, then the other variable, though, the big one, and that's the yeast. Now, we've been very consistent through all of our batches. We've only utilized 3 different kinds of yeast. One we haven't utilized. If you're a batch one, the very first ever batch one person listening to this show right now, we probably know who you are because I think that entire batch only went out to about 4 or 5 people. So that one was a liquid sweet mead yeast that came from White Labs.
Right.
The problem is now I actually would prefer using a liquid yeast. The problem is it's untenable living down
Right.
On this portion of the sun where we live.
No shit.
I mean, because you have to get it transported to you, and if it rises above a certain temperature level for more than a few hours, then it kills the yeast. So, I mean, I've bought liquid yeast, but it didn't flocculate. There was nothing to it, so we went ahead and backed it with the Lalvin D47 that we generally use, and that one's a good yeast. It gets us to about 14% on the final alcohol by volume. We have another one we do, and that one's only on the Troublemaker batch.
That's some bad shit.
Yeah, it is. It's Premier Cuvée. It has a fatality level up to about 18 to 19%. Well, actually, labeled up to 18. We've seen it get as high as 19 and a half.
Yeah.
What that means, what the yeast does, I'll try to keep it simple, and I don't want to go long and get all nerdy on you. But
yeah, I know this might just be the Mead podcast.
Yeah, but so what happens is, so the yeast ends up getting in there amongst the that flavored water. The water's been flavored with the honey, and it starts to consume the honey. It's a sugar. The yeast consumes the sugar and converts it to alcohol. That's the simple phrasing of that. But what happens is, as that yeast colony grows and grows and grows and converts, the yeast will continue converting it to alcohol until the alcohol that is converted kills them.
Right.
So that's the yeast mortality level. Most yeasts are, you get them anywhere between like 8 to about 14, 15% maybe. And a wide range. And believe me, there are a lot of different yeasts that are on the market. We've always stayed with Lalvin D47 because that's one variable that we don't have to worry about changing.
Yeah, it's consistently good.
But in the Premier Cuvée for the high end of it, for the Troublemaker, and because that stuff will get you liquored up.
Damn right.
But, those are the only two yeasts that we've really used consistently. We did use that White Labs one time, but it's just too hard keeping the liquid yeast around. But that's the whole thing. It's a hardier strain that is able to have a higher survivability rate in the alcohol as it rises over 14%. That's the Premier Cuvée. So, so all Mead brought to you by the hard work of a lot of billions and billions of cells of yeast that gave their lives for the cause. Is that simple enough? I try to keep it kind of simple.
God damn. That might be a record on Mead Chat.
Oh, maybe. Are we already over
That's about
10 minutes?
12 solid minutes of Mead talk.
All right, well, let's move on to the other good shit then, folks. And by the way, yes, for our donators out there, Runestone will be ready this time next week. Metal portion of the podcast.
I was floating around the internet. Saw Rolling Stone had put out another list. I'm a sucker for a good list. Top 100 metal albums of all time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man.
Not going to go through the whole centurion of the list, but the top 10 is
that's reasonable. That's
top
reasonable.
10 is rather apropos. Okay, at number 10, Pantera's Vulgar Display of Power.
Sure.
Agreed.
Would you put that one above Cowboys from Hell?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. There's some
I guess I just
there's
like
some
the
good
raw
shit on
element.
Cowboys from Hell.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good shit on it. I mean, there's a lot of good shit on all their albums, but Vulgar Display of Power is where they found their groove.
Actually, kind of got semi-commercial almost.
Yeah. Well, then they put out Far Beyond Driven, which is probably one of their heavier albums.
Right.
It has their Planet Caravan cover.
Oh yeah. That's a good track.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 9, Ozzy Osbourne's Blizzard of Oz.
At 9?
Of all time.
So that means there's got to be Diary of a Madman ahead of that. Well, I'm shocked. So that would mean at least 2 Ozzy entries in the top 10 if they did this list proper.
This is Rolling Stone we're talking about.
Oh yeah, that's right. They weren't big fans of Diary of a Madman when it came out.
Number 8, Megadeth. Peace sells, but who's buying? Personally, I think there are better Megadeth albums, but
Yeah.
I can see why that one would rank so high.
Yeah. God, what was that one that was it was highly popular? Came out in like 85, 86?
86 was... 88 was So Far So Good, So What? Fuck.
It came out right around the same time period that Metallica put out.
85 was Killing Is My Business, because that's the album I wanted to buy.
Yes.
The Tower Records.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's okay. I mean, like I said, I think there are better ones, but At number 7, Motorhead's No Remorse, 1984.
Yeah, that's the one that's got the Ace of Spades on it, yeah?
Yep.
I mean, that even people that don't know who Lemmy was.
Overkill, Bomber, Killed by Death.
Yeah.
Just fucking brilliant. Number 6, Slayer, Rain and Blood. I'm happy to see a Slayer album in the top 10.
Yeah, and I can't argue with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't a fan
When
of
you
Slayer
open
necessarily.
an album with a song about Joseph Mengele, you're doing something either incredibly right or incredibly wrong.
Yeah.
Here they did something incredibly right.
But, wow, well, I mean, Slayer dominated metal. I mean,
They've always been
spite.
at the cusp of it. They've
In
always,
spite
they've always
of the
been
hair
at the
bands.
cusp of like, if we just change some things, we can become a huge band. But fuck that, we're not doing it. We're good
Yeah.
where we're at, which is why we got some really great thrash albums in the '80s from them.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got it.
Number 5, Black Sabbath, self-titled, 1970.
Wow. Really? Well,
Yep.
yeah, I guess. But,
Nativity in Black,
yeah.
the wizard behind
I
the
mean,
wall of sleep.
I would have almost thought, was that Master of Reality? I mean, or Paranoid, NIB. God, I'm trying to remember the Sabbath album. It's a black album cover, and it's Black Sabbath, but Sabbath is in like black letters on a black record. So,
Yeah.
And black is in purple. So
You might be thinking of the Paranoid album.
I think it was Paranoid, actually. Yeah. Yeah, Paranoid. Yeah.
Number 4, Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast, 1982.
Yeah, well, this is where
Fucking great year, by the way.
And this is where we start to diverge a bit. That was their breakout album. There's no two ways about it. Peace of Mind, though. God, you've got to put that one.
I'm sure it's on here. Like that and Power Slave, I'm sure.
Yeah, but that one's the one when people are like, oh, these assholes are serious.
Coming in right on top of him at number 3, which this is going to sound funny after saying that, Judas Priest, British Steel.
Okay, yeah, is that a Rob Alford joke?
That might be. Might be a tasteless Rob Halford joke. He'd like it.
That's what she. Okay.
I've loved my favorite Judas Priest song is fucking Painkiller.
Okay.
I think it's a perfect showcase of everything they do incredibly well, including Rob Halford's fucking vocals. I mean, I know he can't do that shit anymore,
Right.
but man, 1990, that was the peak of his vocals. But like, I like Living After Midnight. It's a fun album.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh, okay, number 2, which I think should be number 1, my humble opinion, Metallica, Master of Puppets.
You're right. No, I
Yeah.
knew that. I thought that was going to be number 1 myself.
Yeah, and I think it should be, but I'm glad that it's up there that high. It needs to be. That is one of the best metal albums
Well, Metallica
of all time.
Metallica kind of really changed metal altogether.
Yeah.
And basically, as a way to sweep aside a lot of the assholes that needed to get swept aside, which included like Cinderella, or Winger and Firehouse.
Which I believe are playing at a high school auditorium as we speak in Clovis, New Mexico.
And that's a fact.
Oh shit!
But I mean,
Ruben invited me to go. By the way,
I'm
I could
I'm
have
sure.
called in and be like, "Yeah, I'm here live at the Winger concert." Well, why aren't you talking so loud? Well, there's nobody here. It's me and Kip Winger talking about legalizing weed.
Yeah. I mean, but so that's what I appreciate about Metallica. They were able to some of the worst things that I can identify about the '80s. They were able to counter that. So
Yeah. And then grunge just came in and finished the job.
yeah, and that's absolutely right.
Right.
And that's why we're both big fans of grunge. But
Number 1,
okay, this is
number
what has
1,
me curious.
Black Sabbath, Paranoid.
Okay, wow, Black Sabbath twice in the top
Yeah.
10. I mean, I'm not saying they don't deserve to be, but I did think it was weird that they went with a self-titled for.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the song Black Sabbath is, as soon as you hear that intro,
Right.
you don't know whether to really get into it or be afraid. I heard it when I was a teenager, and I was afraid.
Wasn't that that was their first album, right?
Yeah,
That's with his Ozzy's first wife on the cover.
that's right.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, a weird cover too, and I mean, and a very red rosé-ish kind of a album cover that looks quite Well, like those that might worship somebody else. Let's just leave it at
You
that.
know, the devil. Have you heard about the Chad? I learned the other day, Nickelback's Chad, you'd say his last name, Kruger, not Kroger. I always called him Kroger.
So you've been checking out Nickelback then?
So, I love Leader of Men. I think it's one of their... I'll admit, I bought their first album because I like that song, Leader of
Silver
Men.
Side Up? Is that right?
No, the one before that.
Oh.
I
I'm
was
just talking shit.
old school Nickelback. But him and Corey Taylor Slipknot have apparently been fucking battling.
I was a fan of the Fat Oprah.
But Nickelback started it.
Yeah.
He just shit all over Stone Sour and Slipknot. And, I'm reading it, and I'm just like, oh, my God. Dude, do you realize, one, you don't want to talk shit to someone like Corey Taylor. He is a well-versed man. This guy's gone on speaking tours, for fuck's sake.
Right.
So, of course, Corey Taylor immediately comes back and just slams him. And then they're, talking about all these people have been weighing in on it.
I would have never thought Nickelback and Slipknot would be like mortal enemies.
Yeah, dude, you got to get with the times, man.
That's
When they were talking about everyone weighing in on the topic, and I'm not going to go in depth on what they said because it really doesn't matter to me, but apparently Smash Mouth and the Iron Sheik have a lot to say about this battle.
the WWF guy?
Yeah.
Oh,
the one that want to break your back, fuck your ass, and make you humble.
Well, for Nickelback, that would probably definitely be a thing.
This is kind of some good news of a story I had no idea about. An Iranian metal band by the name of Confess. They got arrested in 2015 for blasphemy in Iran.
Oh, that's worse.
Yeah, they were facing execution for it. But they just found out that they're not going to be killed.
Well, that's a positive. Yeah. Wow, that's. Can
you fucking imagine?
No, I mean, I could appreciate. I mean, these are people that are willing to stand in the face of knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah,
it was like Pussy Riot.
Pussy Riot, right? Yeah,
and Russia, knowing that they are going to get leveled, really, by the Russian authorities, and the same thing with this band out of Iran. That's
Yeah, it's
that takes some weird commitment you don't see out of anybody.
And you really got to think. Like here in America, I could go up to a Christian right to their face and be like, "Hey, I don't believe in your God. Your God bullshit."
Right.
And I can continue walking down the street.
Probably have.
Well,
this sounds like someone speaking from experience.
I have not.
Yeah, but
then you go to another country and you do that, and you could be fucking killed.
Yeah.
I mean, it blows my mind.
There are some very different places on this planet.
Welcome to the Mead Metal Mortality and MMA podcast.
Yeah, no shit. Bad to be East. Bad to be metal artists out of Iran.
One more quick thing. Brendan Small. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Brendan Schaub?
Brendan Schaub. No, apparently now he's working on the side for Bellator.
Oh.
We'll get into that later. Yeah. Brendan Small, he is the creator of home movies. It was on Adult Swim and Metalocalypse, who is also a very talented guitarist.
Okay.
Extremely talented. Putting out a new album. He had because there's been a lot of, he's been wanting to finish the Metalocalypse series because it kind of ended like Deadwood ended. Oh, shit.
Dropped a beer.
Dropped a beer. Did bad. Did bad.
Board is safe, though.
Did bad. Did bad. My bad. That's why I keep my beers over here. I'm an idiot. Yeah, would you give me some paper towels, sir? I'll keep talking here. He has been trying to finish the Metalocalypse masterpiece that he has been working on for 10 years and has been in total turmoil with Adult Swim over it. And so he's had to put out side albums, and he put out one called Galacticon.
Okay.
It's like kind of spacey metal. But the second part of it, it's Galacticon. It sounds just like Death Clock. Comes out, there's a title track out now called My Name is Murder.
Well, see, the weird thing to me was I thought the death clock thing I thought was purely just a jokey kind of a thing to tie in Metalocalypse. But apparently, like, that's a legit, like, talented musician.
Oh, yeah, involved. Dude. They got Gene Hoglan on drums on that band.
Yeah.
Who they've called the human metronome. He actually drummed for Devin Townsend on Strapping Young Lad.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's really not a whole lot of awesome on this day in rock or birthday. It's very boring.
Yeah.
I believe the drummer Fleetwood Mac was born today.
Right. That's fine. I do actually have a new turn-on for the week, if you good folks want to check this out.
Porn.
I believe the pronunciation is Mirkur.
Right.
Out of Denmark, I believe. And I don't know why I always wanted to say Switzerland, because I don't think it is.
Yeah,
but
I think they're Danish.
I'm pretty sure they're Danish. Anyway, and that's her name, and I say that with emphasis. She is the front woman of this band.
Is that her growling too?
Yeah.
Really?
And, yeah, and I mean,
shit.
they're very much a black metal band. Now, here's where my kind of opinion thing comes in. So I dig what they're doing on the black metal side of things. It's okay. It's very how do you say?
Very classic.
Yeah. That's one way to put it. You know where all the changes are going to be and what's going to be coming up. That's the problem. Having said that, she and her fans are rooting her on to do a Nordic folk album. Go to her webpage or her Facebook page rather, and check it out, or their website. I guess actually their website's not as intuitive as the Facebook is, but go to that. The band's name is Mirkur. It's Myrkur.
I do dig the logo. I like how they got their band name.
Yeah, it's kind of like based off of a rune and kind of an axe looking kind of an amalgam, and it's very cool. So check that out. I don't think that you would be unimpressed with some of the stuff that they've got up that she posts on there. Her vocals are, Brandon said it himself a while ago. He said, "Man, why? It seems like she's too good to be with this band." And yeah, I think you're right. She's got some very veteran chops.
Yeah, it did. It blew me away. I highly fucking recommend it.
The other one, Blind Guardian, going to have a new record coming out, I want to say like around the 8th of July or so.
Yeah, new live album. Anytime a Blind Guardian live album comes out, folks should be excited. I had the honor and the pleasure of seeing these guys in Albuquerque in, 2010?
Okay.
With Teresis and Holy Grail. A great band live. They have to play a backing track of chorus during the singing parts because Hansi's the only one up there singing.
Right.
But on the albums, you hear about 12 of him singing, which is really what gives them their punch. That and the fucking guitar player is magnificent.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have to set that up. It's all MIDI, driven. You hit the chorus, you hit a foot controller or either shit, even this day and age, something on your guitar to control it and unleash that sound. And I far prefer that than people just trying to do rough copies. In which case, then they don't even sound. They're not even a shadow of themselves.
Yeah, I would. If you've never heard of Blind Guardian, I would suggest checking out Imaginations from the Other Side. Probably, in my opinion, their best album. If you're a fan of Lord of the Rings, they have an album for you entirely written based off Lord of the Rings lore called Tales of Middle-earth.
Oh, wow.
Tales from Middle-earth. Good shit.
All right, Blind Guardian, check it out. Let's move to the MMA side of the podcast. And
who's excited for Sunday?
I understand there's some fights, some people throwing hands, some chingazos.
Yeah, actually, the entire weekend tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday.
LFA has a fight on tonight. Sage Northcutt's fighting some chick. And
yeah, that was really weird. I thought he had a Reebok deal. UFC was doing great.
It's his,
And he got tits for some reason. That was weird.
Yeah, I'm very big. It's his sister is fighting LFA tonight.
Named after my favorite cheese.
Colby? Colby Northcutt.
If
You're right.
If her middle name is Jack, then she is my favorite cheese.
She's got a lot of genetics that. How do I put this? How do I put this without pissing off a lot of people? She has the genetic makeup of her brother, but only different.
Yeah. One of those, like, you look at her and you kind of automatically think, like, oh, she's pretty good looking. But if you've seen Sage Northcutt, all you see is Sage Northcutt with long hair and tits.
That's right, and a very mannish looking chick.
Yeah. But that's beside the point. The question is she going to win her debut?
Well, as long as she don't get taken to the ground, because the Northcutt name carries with it some liabilities.
It certainly does. Like you go high into the stratosphere, but you flame out quick.
Yeah. Well, he's on a losing skid of what, 2 or 3 now?
He won his last one.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did.
He got off that 2-fight loss.
Because the UFC, if they're investing in your future, they will make sure you get a fight that you shouldn't lose. And if you go on to lose it, then,
that's basically them putting your fate in your hands.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't beat this guy, you can't work for us anymore.
So I imagine then if we see if Colby Northcutt, if she comes out tonight and has a solid showing, it's probably just a matter of time before she's in. Because let's face facts.
What's her weight class?
I think
it Bantam?
Probably 135. Then that's just a guess. I don't know. Because it doesn't matter. I will say bantamweight is the more stacked division, but they're always looking for talent in UFC.
Oh, absolutely. And
we're going to get that 145 fight, by the way. Is that
Yeah, Cyborg and that Megan Anderson. God, she is fucking tall, man.
Megan Anderson?
Yeah, she's huge.
Well, Cyborg.
She might be able to give Cyborg a legitimate run. She's going to have a serious reach advantage over her.
But it is the division they made specifically for one fighter will finally get that fight's finally been announced, and that's going to be made.
Yeah,
so.
They'll finally get the champion they deserve.
Well, no,
unless Megan Anderson
the champion they want. That's
pulls
the
off
problem.
Well, this is this is the next. You got to have a fucking high named fighter holding a title in women's division. You just got to.
I'm trying not to be a conspiracy theorist here, but they set up Holly Holm, who had lost 2 fights in a row, to fight Jermaine Durandamy, that mannish-looking broad out of the Netherlands, and lost. I really think the UFC kind of put their eggs in one basket on that one.
Sure.
And thought that Holly Holm was going to win and be able to hold the title at 145. I don't know why this promotion wants Holly Holm to hold the title, but they seem like they
marketable.
Do. Well, that's it. She's marketable. Fights out of probably one of the one of the biggest gyms. But but at what point do you flame out that the only thing you're known for is knocking out Ronda Rousey? Well, I would say that time's already passed. But so Durandamy then she wins that fight. There was some dirty shit going on. Let's not kid ourselves.
Some Yoel Romero type shit going on there.
And then suddenly then she steps down and they make the fight the Cyborg fight and fighting some. Frankly, I don't know who Megan Anderson is. So
and I'm Invicta champ. And really,
wait a minute. Did she just fight her like a couple of months ago?
I don't know. I didn't.
That
I don't
weird,
really
like
watch
roughneck
Invicta.
looking ginger.
Oh no, that's Tanya Evinger.
Okay, all right.
Who actually bumped up to 145, and I believe is now filling in for Megan Anderson on a fight because they kind of just scooped her up and threw her at the 214 card.
Right.
Which, by the way, that's kind of looking like a pretty good card.
Yeah. What's the fight you're going to be out in Vegas and not see?
I will be at the Ultimate Fighter finale.
Yeah, the Thursday one, but
Friday.
The Friday. Well, that's a cheaper one to go to. I can't bust your balls.
Hey,
as
soon as Dillashaw and Garbrandt got pulled, I was pulled. Right. That was it. Because I am there for the pomp and circumstance of being at a UFC event.
Right.
And I think the Michael Johnson and Justin Gaethje fight is going to be awesome. And I want to hear Bruce Buffer say it's time live. And I want to yell, "That's it!" at a fucking fight, man. I got to do it. I'm going to nail so many things off my bucket list. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to bang a midget.
Well,
I didn't specify sex there. I'm keeping my options open.
all right. Well, we got fights this weekend. Bellator tomorrow. Their second ever pay-per-view.
Yeah, out of NYC.
And it doesn't have Tito Ortiz on the card. So.
No, but you're going to still find a whole lot of old UFC fighters on this card.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I have a few problems with this card.
Okay.
And we'll just start with the main event of the preliminary card on Spike TV.
Okay.
A light heavyweight title fight.
On the
prelim main event, Phil Davis defending against Ryan Bader.
God, I've never felt the bigger urge to root for Bader in my life, but oh well. But he won't win because Phil Davis.
Phil Davis is the Mayweather of MMA, only without any offense.
Well, yeah, that's the problem. He has a zero offense to him. So I expect that will be Phil Davis's fight. But is that going to be a new thing? I mean, Scott Coker is crazy, but this might be.
Well, as we travel up the card,
okay,
it'll begin to make a lot more sense.
All right.
Now, main fight card on pay-per-view. Welterweight title fight. There is a lightweight title fight between Aaron Pico and a dude named Zach Freeman who doesn't have a Wikipedia page. So,
okay.
Moving on. Douglas Lima, welterweight champ, fighting Lorenz Larkin. Second fight on the pay-per-view card.
Both of those guys have been in the UFC.
Yeah. So we're basically we're kind of watching a UFC pay-per-view right now.
Kind of. Lorenz Larkin, good fighter, not elite, but good fighter.
Yeah. I got Lima by submission. I think he retains.
Yeah, every time I pick against Larkin, he gets a win, though. So,
next fight after that, lightweight title fight. Michael Chandler fighting Brent Primus of the band Primus.
No. Get the hell out of here.
Fighting Les Claypool. Again, Michael Chandler is he's a fucking company man. He's a Bellator guy.
Right.
So,
I recall who he is. I've seen his fight tapes. He's good. I mean, he would be a top 10, well, maybe even top 5 UFC fighter, but he's not a champ at lightweight in the UFC because there's some other guy that doesn't fight anymore, but would probably kick his ass.
Co-main event of the evening. Now, we've already pretend we've already watched the Bellator fights. We're like, oh, man, those 3 title fights we watched were pretty good. And you get to the co-main event. You got Fedor and Matt Mitrione.
Okay. Who, I believe I think Rampage had lovingly called titties.
I think Matt Mitrione beats shit out of Fedor.
I think that'd be awesome.
I think he beats Fedor down into the dirt.
Boy, Scott Coker does not like you right now, but
well, he didn't.
They paid a lot of money to get.
All he likes is a cheap buffet.
They paid a lot of money to get Fedor to come out of retirement.
Yeah, I got Mitrione by. I'm gonna say a finish. I'm gonna say knockout. I'm sure it'll probably be. It's either gonna be first, second round because both these guys are gonna gas. Fedor's gonna gas immediately.
Yeah,
Fedor's gassed when he fought Maldonado. He gassed immediately, and Maldonado would have won that fight had it not have been in fucking Russia. On a card that Fedor fucking kind of had a financial interest in.
Yeah.
And then you move on to the main event of the evening. Chael P. Sonnen, the gangster, the man fighting Vanderlei, who, by the way, has an old dad body now.
Which actually, I think that was a great fight 8 years ago. But here we are in 2017, so, I mean... Yeah.
I mean, I love seeing fights with two people that legitimately hate one another. I'm
not a fan of either one, so I can actually sit back. I mean, that's if we're even watching this shit. But I can sit back and legitimately say, it's okay. I want to see them both get bloodied. I don't know that it's going to get to that point.
It's going to be one of two things: either Vanderlei's going to knock him out, or Chael's going to sub him. That's it.
Yeah.
Either that or it'll be a 25-minute snore fest.
Yeah. There's a good chance.
But my problem is, okay, you have a fucking title fight on your prelim.
Yeah.
why not use this opportunity, this super amount of exposure you're going to get for those last 2 fights, have those kind of in the middle, and have your champions on the main stage.
It's a risky move, but here's why. It's because you're getting people watching free fights, and they're going to see a title fight, and they'll go, man, that was a great fight. How about we go ahead and do that pay-per-view?
Okay, then why fucking open with Phil Davis?
No, that's because, that's going to be a store fest. You're right. That's a terrible idea.
But God, these are how all the champions fight in Bellator. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, Phil Davis. That's why he got cut from the UFC, because that guy was as much fun to watch as
ran away from Rumble like a gazelle.
Yeah, and that's why Rumble won that fight, and that's why Phil Davis is not in the UFC anymore.
So overall, Bellator has the opportunity to be a great card.
All right,
it's either going to be really good or just fucking boring.
We have only a couple of minutes. Let's talk about that UFC stinking pile that they have coming up on Sunday.
UFC OKC.
Yeah.
God, man, why don't they want to compete with that fucking Bellator pay-per-view? Do they think they can't beat it?
Well, initially I thought, what is a Monday a national holiday? Because they never have fights on Sunday unless most people get the next day off.
It doesn't fucking make any sense to me.
Apparently, they're just running away from Bellator, which I think that's a bad sign.
It still looks like a pretty good card. Your main event on the prelims, Clay Guida fighting Eric Koch. I'm going Guida just because I'm a Guida guy.
On the prelims?
Yep, prelim main event.
I'm shocked Clay Guida's still fighting, but I'll keep pulling for him. I don't give a damn.
That fight with Diego Sanchez was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was. He actually did showcase the skills that he has.
BJ Penn, Dennis Seaver, who you got?
Father Time.
The Grim Reaper.
I
think this is where BJ Penn gets his win.
Yeah, the company's wanting him to get a win.
Dennis Seaver, I don't know when the last time Dennis Seaver actually fought. It's been a while.
I know he fought McGregor, right? A while, but that's been
poorly.
like 3 years ago.
Poorly. Back when McGregor didn't have a chest tattoo.
Yeah. No, BJ Penn, obviously.
Yeah, this is where
the company wants him to get a win.
Yeah.
So.
Tim Means out of Albuquerque. Find Alex Garcia. I'm going to pick Means.
Well, I always pick Means, but man, he usually loses. But Dirty Bird.
Women's strawweight, Felice Herrig fighting Justine Quiche.
Felice Herrig.
After she's come back, she had a shitty run before, but this last fight, she looked really good.
Yeah, and I was going to buy her calendar. Oh, well.
I was going to buy her used underwear. I'm just kidding, Grandma. I wasn't going to do that.
God damn, I hope your grandma doesn't listen.
I send them to her every night.
All right.
Tim Boach, Johnny Hendricks, co-main.
Tim Boach. Here's why. Because Johnny Hendricks he's looking great at middleweight, and that's where he should have been the first damn place. But he's going to have to revert some wrestling skills, and if those don't work out, Tim Boach is going to beat him down.
Yeah, I mean, Boach is a little long in the tooth.
Oh yeah, well, but so is Johnny Hendricks, and he doesn't have as many years, but those are some hard years.
I think it's going to come down to whose chin is stronger. If Hendricks lands first, it's going to be a pretty. Boach is known for coming back and like just rocking fools.
Yeah,
and if Boach touches you, it changes you.
Yep.
It's not. It's going to be a finish one way or the other because
you're right.
Both men need to win.
I don't think this shit's getting out of the first round.
I'm going Boach.
Yeah.
I think Hendricks is headed off to Bellator after this.
Maybe. I think that might be right.
Main event, Michael Chiesa v. Kevin Lee.
I'm going to get Chiesa only because that guy has got some crazy submission skills. I hope he's worked on his striking a little bit because he looks awkward as hell throwing punches.
Yeah, I'm going Chiesa because that dude obviously loves his mother a lot. When Kevin Lee barely mentioned her, he wanted to kill him. So,
well, now
Kevin Lee is trying to be the Black McGregor. Too.
Yeah,
he's trying to really amp that shit up.
Everybody that pulls the McGregor shit, I'm out. I really am. And to this point, maybe even McGregor. But
hey.
Chiesa threw a great Darce choke on Jim Miller.
Yep.
That was when I first kind of learned about Chiesa. First learned about where he's training at the lab. I like Chiesa in that because I think a win here, and that gets him really into the discussion of, hey, do we give that guy a title shot?
So we got some fights on this weekend. I think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, no, we're not without an option to watch because we got shit going on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It is weirding me out that the UFC has chosen to go ahead and fight on Sunday, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, they defer to the Bellator pay-per-view.
Yeah, I don't know. But who knows? There might be some weird backdoor dealings going on there. It's like, hey, well, we'll put our event off to this night for your 212 or whatever. I don't know. So anyway, yeah, a lot of fights to watch, a lot of beverages to drink. A lot
It
of
is
metal to listen to.
time to get to work, people.
Let's go with overrated, underrated on metal or MMA. I will take the opposite of whichever one you do.
Ooh, I had a good question, too.
Oh, good. Okay.
But no, we'll do this one first. Overrated on metal, I'm going to go with Volbeat.
Of course.
Because they are overrated. They are overrated. MMA.
Overrated, underrated. I'm gonna go overrated. Overrated. Nate Diaz.
Yeah, that's bad. Okay. Dead female actress you would like to take out for a turkey dinner, if you know what I mean.
Dead female actress.
If you know what I mean.
Christ
Wink,
almighty.
wink, nudge, nudge.
What was the chick's name that always got confused with Marilyn Monroe? Mention her on
Rita Hayworth.
Pulp Fiction.
Uma Thurman.
No. She's still alive and well. Oh, God damn it. I'll just go Carrie Fisher just to make it easy.
Ooh. I go Madeline Kahn.
Damn it.
Yeah, I win.
All right. Hey, that's it for the podcast this week, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I know you were saying, hey, how come they didn't talk about Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather? That fight's been made. Because we've got weeks and weeks and weeks to go.
Let that thing build. Let it come to a soft boil.
Right. When it comes to matters of donations, if you want to get a hold of us, throw something in the comments section or find us over on Facebook. I think it's still up as Echoes of Ancients, I think.
Yep. You can find me in a van
Season
down
of
by
Woe,
the river.
I guess, yeah. Find us individually. Probably not at a Winger or Firehouse concert. So that's
you might find our art department there, though.
Yeah, that's going to do it for us this week. Get yourself a hold of some Bullet Rye. It's some nice sipping liquor. If not, hey, just go my route. Go with cheap domestics and expensive whiskey.
Yep. Mead, I'm picking Runestone. Metal, I'm picking Blind Guardian. MMA, I am picking Clay Guida by a finish.
I will go ahead and defer to Brandon on that. That's it for us this week. Hope you have a great one. We will see you jackasses again on Friday next week, right?
Yep, the last one before the Vegas trip, son.
Yeah, that's right. All right. All right, you heathens. We'll talk at you again later. And, rock on.
Good night, friends.